Galactic Season 4 is in full swing, so we're going to look deeper into the season, all of its objectives, its rewards, and the introduction to our new main character, Amity. Welcome to Amityville. That and more on this episode of the SWTOR podcast from newoverlords.com. Our broadcast astromech today is EPC 462. And with me is the game design guru, Seema. Hello there, Seema. How is it going?
Hey Max, it's going pretty well. I'm enjoying my time so far in Amityville.
Yes.
So in other words, yes, Galactic Seasons 4 has been going very smoothly for me so far. Except for one wrinkle, which I think you experienced too, which I completely and totally forgot about rep last week, so I didn't
As did
turn in
I.
any.
As did I.
Yeah.
I was quite frustrated on Tuesday morning when I went, donk.
Yes, right. So, yeah. So, I'm not worried though, as
No.
long as we're sort of semi on top of it.
Yeah.
Or actually, maybe I'll upgrade that to just on top of it. It'll get done in time.
Yeah.
And the reason we're talking about it is because the max that you can get per week is very low, is only 5,000 reps. So pay attention early,
Right.
so you have a chance to get it done before the end of Galactic Seasons 4.
Yeah,
But
you
there's
have
plenty
you
of
have
time for
margin
it.
of like 5 weeks or 6 weeks. So you could like
Yes.
skip 5 weeks and still get it done, but you need to be
Right.
maxing out your rep. Because it takes about 14 weeks of turning in rep to get it done if you want to get the achievement and get it done within the season.
That's right. And we had a fun night in R4 tonight. It's the first time in a while we've been back to R4 with our full team, and we one shot one of the bosses, the third boss, that just the last time we were in there we really struggled with, and I was commenting that we don't have this boss on farm at all. It's really still our progression boss. And then we one shotted him tonight, which was good because it gave us almost a whole hour to work on the next boss, who is Lady Dominique, and we're learning that fight. But it doesn't
Yeah.
seem insurmountable.
No, in fact, we're to like the 4th out of 5th phases. We just need to get that chain knockback figured
Yes.
out.
Yes. I mean, I'm probably never going to figure that out, but I think we'll still be able to kill him even if I stand in the wrong place for that. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Because I don't find it obvious who's the first and like it's a chain knockback, and if we stand in the order of who got the who's getting it from who, then somehow that minimizes it. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that part I don't get yet, but we'll get there. So yeah, that's been sort of my week in SWTOR. How are things with you, Max?
It has been a busy SWTOR week for me. Quite busy. So let's see. We're here. If people can see the video in my Mechshaw stronghold, which I did outfit so that I could make it useful for me. So when you zone in right on the dock. You can change your bind point to be upstairs, and I almost did that, but there's more I wanted to do downstairs. I liked it a little bit better, and I liked the way the dock looks, and I liked the where the vehicles can be bound here to the dock. So we'll look at those in a second because this is one of the vehicles that you get from Amity. But I lined up the 3 cargo holds. So I've got my Legacy, my personal cargo hold, and a guild bank. I've got a mailbox. I've got these. So I always put like a couple of Jawas or one of those guard droids or something that's a vendor. Because if you just want to like vendor like vendor trash or whatever, you just need to have one on hand. You can always click one of these guys. I might switch it out. There's 3 of these Jawas that you can get as decorations, and they are the same as the Jawas in the cartel market that give you the 4 Jawa junk, the green items, the purple items, and the blue items. So there's 3 of them. I have the blue one still in my Yavin stronghold. I actually use that one because I often need to get the isotope stabilizers that it sells. So I'm probably going to bring that one here. But whenever I put a couple of them out, I also do this thing where they're kind of like menacingly hanging around a little astromech because they are Jawas and that's what they do.
Right.
And then I also always have a GTN on hand and close by. So there's one right here. So I got to be selling stuff or grabbing stuff off the GTN right near my stronghold. And then I started just to put a couple decorations out. So I've got a couple decorations, which we realized that you can put the vehicles right on the dock and sort of push them out, so it looks like they're like the dock in the other parts of Meksha, like outside the cantina there. I put some lights up, as you can see out here outside, and then inside I think what I want to do is put a band on this stage up here. So I put some lights up above and put these little things here. And then I think I'm going to put my microphone and dance floor stuff in there and make a band. And then the rest of this place, I think I want to outfit as my own version of Hutbreaker's compound. And if you remember Hutbreaker's compound in Meksha, it's like an auction house, a black market auction. And what I love about that place, and it is amazing, and my stronghold will never be as nice as Hutbreaker's compound, which you can still go to. It's got a bunch of really rare like items and decorations and just really cool stuff. So I'm gonna try to make a little bit of a version of that. And then one extra little bonus, which I put up a link in our discords earlier, was somebody's peeking in the window up here. You can see somebody wants to come to the party.
Yes.
It's Garge. It's Garge. Garge is sad. Just wants to be friends. So he's up there peeking in the window and asking if he can come in. I I was quite amused by that. So that was one thing I did this week. I also did a ton of Conquest Galactic season and PvP season. So I don't know why, because as of Wednesday last week, I said I was quitting PvP, and then I didn't. And then I did
And
not.
and by quitting PvP, you mean quitting trying to do the
Yeah,
PvP track.
just
Yeah,
deciding that I wasn't
not
going to go through with the
not
season.
right, not rage quitting
Right,
PvP. Yeah.
right. Um, but I ended up not, and I ended up finishing 4 of the PvP weeklies last week. So I ended up with like 800 out of 1,000. Yeah, so I ended up with like 800 out of the 1,000. I had 4 of the weeklies done, and it was the arenas. So I did all of the arenas, and then I did like one. I think I won some war zones to complete that. And then this week so far, here it is Thursday, and I've already got 3 of the weeklies done for the season this week, because the war zones were also a galactic season objective, and I'm going after all the 12-point galactic season objectives. So it's a 12-point objective. I'm going to go and try to do it.
Hmm.
And war zones were one of them. So I was like, all right, fine, I will do war zones. So I did the war zones and then ended up doing enough with Stask and Machete and a bunch of people in AIE last night. So every Wednesday night, they're starting a little PvP group, and it was great. It was fun. It was a great way to, even though those can be frustrating, if you got other people around getting a little spicy, we, we say it's spicy chat, that it makes it more fun. So that worked out well to finish off the Warzone one, and I may pick off one of these arena ones too. During the day, I'm finding arenas to be fun.
So wait, so let me ask you about how they overlap. So when you completed the conquest target of war zones, did it also complete the PvP season one, or did you have to do more to complete the PvP season one?
You have to do more to complete the PvP season 1, but it was close. So the galactic season objective was to something like do 8. Yeah, I think it was well, see, I can't see anymore because it's gone, but I think it was do 8 but double progress for wins. So if you win, you're really only doing 4, whereas for the PvP season, one of the objective is to play 8. And the one of the objective is to win, just win 3. So I think the win 3 got done by the time I got the galactic season objective done, but then I had to continue to play 8 to get the next objective done, and had to get 7 medals in enough matches, only in 4, but I did that as well. I've found it's much more difficult to get medals and complete the get 4 war zones with medals than it in war zones than it is for me to do it in arenas. Because arenas, you get medals for DPS and for healing. In war zones, you don't. So in war zones, you get it for playing the objectives, which is appropriate. And they're working on making the medals work a little bit better in all of the war zones. But a game like Hutball, you are only getting medals if you're passing the ball or carrying the ball or killing the ball handler. Depending on how the game is going and how the match goes, I've been in Hutball matches where no one on either side got 7 medals or more. The most I saw was one of the teams got like 5 out of 8 of their players 7 medals or more, and no one else in the match. That was and that blew my mind. So war zones I found to be much more of a challenge than arenas in getting medals and arenas. So let's see. I've played 4 arenas and I've won half of them. I won 2 and played 4, and, one of them was against a pre-made. You go up against the pre-mades and you expect to lose. Played 1 arena today, so I'm just throwing them in here and there. Played 1 arena today where it was on our team is 3 DPS and 1 tank, and the other team had 2 DPS, a healer, and a tank. We lost the first round and we won the next 2, and we won it. So don't give up. Don't give up even if you're up against a team with a healer. We just said we had a good strat. We killed one of the weak DPS to start to lower the DPS on us. Then we focused on the healer because I think it was an operative. So operative healers start out stealthed anyway. So somebody's go off against someone else, and then pl- knock out the healer, then knock out the other DPS, and then just leave the tank till the end, obviously, because you don't need to worry about that. And it worked. So a lot of stuff. Oh, and then the last thing I've been doing. So PvP, GSF. So I'm done with Galactic Seasons already. And the weird thing with Galactic Season and the 12-point objectives, and this happened to me last week, especially, and it was worse last week, was if you're focused on the 12-point objectives and you get like a couple of the other ones done, like March Across the Galaxy, you get 200,000 personal conquest points, you might get 7 weekly objectives done and not get to do then not get to, I'm making a choice, but not
Right,
doing
right,
the Amity ones. So I
right,
didn't do the meditation stuff last week because I finished Galactic Seasons and then it was off and done.
right, right. It's easy to get some of those targets done while you're paying attention to something else.
Right. It was weird. So it's been kind of frustrating. Uh not frustrating because I'm making the choice. But because I'm going after the 12-point objectives, I'm putting myself into this situation where I'm not allowing myself to go off and do some of these interesting things with Amity. We'll talk a little about Amity tonight. I did do a bunch with Amity just to get into the story and get into the reputation and all of that kind of thing. So we'll talk about why I'd like to spend more time with Amity because there's a reason there. But yeah, so Galactic season's done, PvP season done, and then the only other thing I've been doing, which I was been doing a ton of, in fact, I should do it right now. I should do is because last week there was a 12-point objective for 5 dart projects and 5 invasion forces. I'm running out of materials. So I do
Hmm.
that one every time it comes up because it's a 12-point objective. And by running out, I mean if I have less than 1,000 of any of the grades, I count that as running out, and then I need to replenish. I think with everything I have like between 1 and 4,000 of stack of all of the grades. That's 4 through 11, which are used.
And you build it back up by running the crew missions, or
Yes, mostly by running crew missions, but I will go to some planets sometimes. Like when I'm queuing up for PvP, my Sork, who's my main PvPer, right now is parked on Iocath to get grade 10 mats. And it's a special place I like to be on Iocath where I'm getting scavenging and archaeology and bioanalysis. So
I mean, I feel like if I have a couple of hundred of a mat, I'm like in good shape.
if I get under 1,000, I'm like, oh crap.
Well, that explains why I'm always running out.
uh,
What, like for Total Galactic War, when we were all making war supplies so that everyone in the guild could make invasion forces.
right.
That was a that's the main time when I try to stock up.
Right, exactly, and that's why I'm trying to stock up more, and that's why I try to stay 1,000 or more, so when we get to those
Well,
kinds of times,
yeah.
I have some backlog to be able to soak up.
And I always, want to start a week with being able to make at least 5 or so invasion forces. So sometimes that means I have to go, you know, get Bondite or something.
Right. Right. I've got a couple weird situations, like, one of my I think yeah, on archaeology, I have, like, 500 more of the grade 11
Yes.
fragment than I do
Yes.
of the power crystals, and
Right.
I don't know why. So now on my archaeologist, I'm running the grade 11 power crystals only, like
Yeah.
4 of those, and then
I
a
have to
couple of
do
the
that
other lower
too to
grades.
even them out. Or sometimes I will splurge and buy them.
It's
I
hard to buy stuff right now, though, because it's so expensive.
Oh, I mean with Jawa junk. And
Oh, oh,
it's not a good deal really because the grade 11 are like
a lot, the
they really
most, yeah,
use up your green Jawa junk at an alarming rate. Yeah.
right. I would not recommend well, 2 things. The materials is because of Conquest, go for a ton on the GTN. I would not recommend buying them, just go, you have to get yourself into a little bit of groove of farming them. Uh, but if you wanna make some money, the big
Yeah, you
Conquest
sell
guilds
them.
that, burn through those mats a ton, they will buy them and you can make a ton of money. Okay, so that's a ton of stuff. That's what I've been doing. Let's talk about the news.
Now, an Imperial News Network report.
One other thing I've been doing this week, I forgot. Big SWTOR week for me. I spent a lot of time. I did. Why is this is wrong? I'm not going to click on that, but that is not my name. I'm going to look at this a second. I hope it's not like they don't have some bug where it's logging you into somebody else's account. No,
Yeah, that is weird.
it's not. It must be like a cached thing because I'm not logged in. Uh, anyway, uh, I don't know who that is, but it's not me. I did create a character on the new Shea Vizsla server, which we talked about it last week. They were going to start this test, and they did. So the test is a brand new server. It's a test server. It's going to only be up temporarily, and they're going to wipe it clean when they're done. But it's a test of a production server in a production environment. So it's not a PTS server. It's an actual server, but it's being run as a test, and it's running in AWS, and it is uh, in the Asia Pacific region, sort of down by Australia. So Zen is asking how did it perform for me? Between 180 and 260 millisecond ping was what I was getting when I was playing, and I rolled a character at level 1, so I was only on Hutta, but it sort of hovered for me there between 180 and 260 milliseconds, which seemed fine. I mean, I'm at like 20 milliseconds here in the US, but it was definitely seemed pretty good. I didn't try to do GSF or PvP yet, and that's where I think I would probably experience the most differences. But it seemed performant to me, and all of regular PvE content I was as I was leveling up a low level character seemed good, seemed fine. Like it wasn't like characters rubber banding around me as there was because there was a bunch of people on there. Uh, it 500 ping, yeah. So people coming this direction, uh, are they get into these situations where it's a lot of ping. What they're hoping to do also because they're experimenting with this AWS backend is make it better for people that are running on US servers as well. So they're potentially it seems like move to potentially looking to move live servers over to AWS. And because there are big fat pipes underneath the ocean from between the AWS data centers, uh, there's the potential for everyone to benefit from these kinds of testing. Unacceptable. Please make the earth smaller. Exactly, Zen. No, 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 Zen. Make the speed of light faster. I think that's what we need to do. Why did they use APAC? Uh, I think they just wanted to try a region where they weren't at so that they could, especially because they're based in the US, then they're getting a lot of extra testing of stuff done and being able to test. Could they go to a different region? What is it like when it's in a faraway region? What does that all what does that all do for them? So pretty interesting and fun to see. You can still create a server there, or you create a character there. You can also copy a character there. What you do to copy a character is you go to your account and as if you were doing a PTS copy, but it'll say you're copying to the Shea Vizsla server, and you can put a character out there and try it out. Uh, yeah, good times. I had fun and recommend you testing it as well. So that is that. Next up, SEMA. We had a little patch today, didn't we?
Yes, it was a little patch.
Just a little bit.
Nothing super big. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Oh, I thought you were
Yep.
okay.
I was saying it's a
Um,
little patch, little one, little
yeah,
tiny one.
little patch. One of the things I noticed is you can now interact with the Q button when you're in PvP, like in a match, and you can leave a match using that. I don't know if that's something new or something that was broken that they fixed, but that seems like a neat little improvement.
There was a problem, I think, with the exit area button and doing it that way. Keep in mind, though, if you're doing that, if you're getting out of a match, there's still the penalties for doing that. This isn't like
Yeah,
getting
it's
around those
not
penalties.
removing any. Yeah, right.
Don't do it.
I,
Don't leave.
um, and then also noted that they had previously put in a hot fix, which was to the wording of it was that credits from COD mail can now only be claimed once. So that might be why. Remember when they had that one? No, a hot fix is something different. But anyway, yeah, that would be pretty bad.
Yeah,
That would. I'm glad they could fix that, and especially in this time when we're sort of conscious of inflation and thinking of ways to reduce inflation.
right.
Injecting a whole bunch of credits into the game with a bug like that would be counter.
Yes. Yes, it would.
And there were a couple other little things, but those are the two things that jumped out at me.
Yeah. They're working hard on bug fixing. So, last up in the news, you can, if you look at the dev tracker, you can see there's thread after thread where Jackie and the team are soliciting feedback, collecting up what people are still seeing errors with the 64-bit conversion. There are a couple sort of serious ones that they're asking, that small number of people, but significant that are experiencing like not even being able to get into the game still. They get like getting through the launcher and there's a blank list with no servers in it. They're asking people to try a couple things, send in your logs. They're working hard and they've been like every day on these and asking more questions and tracking people down and seeing what they're running into. So two of the big ones that they're tracking this week are that number one, working hard to make sure that anybody that can't get into the game can get in. And the second one is this flickering textures. So I haven't seen any of these, but we have heard of multiple people in our guild that have had problems getting into the servers in particular. So hopefully we'll get that worked out. There are two methods to install Star Wars: The Old Republic, remember. One is with Steam, and the other is directly on your hard drive with their launcher. I would recommend, they're probably talking about it. Everybody's probably knows this already, but I would recommend if you're having problems with one, go ahead and try the other one.
Yeah.
I'm having really good experience with Steam lately, and I was off Steam for a long time to start. Uh, but yeah, it's been a really good experience. So, what about community news, Seema? What do we got?
Well, I mean, I know we're going to talk about this, but it is a community thing for us, Galactic Seasons,
Yeah,
because that kind of informs what we do on our open guild night, which is MFN on Tuesday nights. We usually look for conquest targets and Galactic Seasons targets that we can do as a group. Um, so yeah, that's a good thing.
Tuesday nights, Wednesday nights, and Friday nights often. So
Yeah.
not everyone, but the Wednesday nights for the PvP and Friday nights for GSF. Especially Machete and Stask, two of our newest officers, have been doing a great job rallying the troops at both of those times. Not every Friday, most Wednesdays, you can jump on, and there. So this week it was, I think there was about 8 people, between 6 and 8. So I think they started with 6, and then we went to 7, and then we went, then a couple people had to leave, and a couple of other people came in. So I think it was like 8 total. So we could have done an 8-person group, but they started with 6 and broke into 2 groups of 3. working really hard to get everybody to get credit.
It
And
looks like they're planning to fly tomorrow night, Friday night this week. So
there we go. I think I've already finished my galactic season objective for GSF, but maybe I'll fly a little bit. Flying is fun as well. Yeah, I was doing GSF this week. Tons of Star Wars. That's what I was doing. Um, please read the news item though for galactic seasons again, Seema.
what? Oh,
Galactic
well, I
seasons.
mean, you want
It's back
okay,
on the menu, boys.
boys. Gosh, yes,
Galactic seasons is back on the menu, boys.
because
Gosh.
because we're orcs
Because we're orcs with regular human voices.
from a
Gosh.
Lord of the Rings
Wow. How
very
about his
funny
legs? Can I
meme.
have his legs? Gosh. Savage. All right. Shout out to Discord. Thanks everybody for coming and hanging out with us. I'll talk about one other thing because I didn't talk about it in what I've been doing, but I have been developing my skills in video game development. For whatever reason, I decided that this would be a fun thing to do, especially as I was learning more and talking to more and more studios. I said, "Hey, Unreal Engine, let me just pick that up and just do a thing." And I did a thing. And it's called Mouse Eats Cheese because that's what Seema said would be the perfect game ever. If a mouse just that's all it is, just a mouse and the mouse just eats cheese. And that's it. So I said, "Okay, I will make that game except a mouse is itself a biological mouse is a little bit harder to animate than a mouse droid. So we have mouse droid eats cheese. If you go to noverlords.com/games, I have a page up that describes what I've done in Unreal Engine and a download link. You can grab it, download it, put it on your PC. Mind the dev notes because it's not hard to install, but you want to like unzip it and then click the exe, and it might put a couple runtimes. It might and it doesn't auto install the runtimes if you don't have them. But you can play Mouse Eats Cheese, and I used some AI to do some of the components. There's 9 different parallel dimensions that you're exploring. There's a whole bunch of different cheese that you will discover in these scenes. It's just like one scene, but it's like a parallel dimension kind of thing, and you teleport between these dimensions because the mouse droid cannot be held back.
And each cheese basically has its own codex entry.
It has a codex entry. So as if he encounters some cheese, he scans it with his little EATS laser, which is uh, the external aesthetic and taste scan. That's the eats. Mouse droid eats cheese. Really wanted it to spell eats. So he scans it with his little laser, and then you'll notice the upper right, the glass, the spyglass flashes. You can pop it out, and you will see the description. And there are actual descriptions of actual cheeses. There's about 15 to discover, and some of them are some of the rarest cheeses in the world. Some of them are just fan favorites. Uh, that's it. That's what it is. But everything in it, everything in there, everything you see, I handcrafted myself. So I was kind of proud. I was able to get through it all. So a ton of modeling in Blender, rigging of the model, animation, the sound design, the scene design, graphics. It's all somewhat kind of a form of procedural generation, as it does a random graphic, a random setting of the scene. It puts a couple different props in there. Random cheese shows up. They're all sort of shuffled as I built a little deck system that sort of shuffles the cards when you first load up the game, and then you go through that and it reshuffles them. So that's it. That's what it is. We'll show it off again. We showed it off a little bit before the show started. That's why I'm talking about it with the in this segment about the people at Discord. I'm gonna talk about it a little bit more at the end, but check it out if you feel like it, or don't. It's not a big deal. As I said, it's just cheese. That's all there is. You just go and find some cheese, and it's not hard to find. It's right there. You just you just load it up, and these right there, and there's cheese right there, and you just scan the cheese. That's it. It is not on Steam. Sir Galahad. It is not on Steam. After the chat room, thank you, chat room. After the show, I'll show it one more time and answer any questions. Get in our Discord if you want to ask any more questions about it. But I don't think there's much to ask. let us get into oh, I meant to get a little bit of his dialogue. I can pull it up real quick. Hold on. Hold on. The sound effect for the transition. Let's do this. Derp. Here we go. Let's why can't I hear it?
What were you looking at just then when you leaned way over? It's like
I've got I've got a million
I know you have many, many computers, but you can't see
monitors.
them all from where you sit?
It no, the this blocks the corner where the sound button is on the other monitor. They're kind of like they're kind of staggered like this. So I have to like peek around this one monitor to see in the lower right corner of the other monitor. Let's see.
I mean, that movement is usually a
That's
streamer
not
who
right.
has, like, a dog or a kid.
That's not working. Well, I don't have sound, but so here. Warzone would be the wrong um oh, here I found some sound. Uh Amity is not a there he is. Hello. So we have season. Okay, that's enough.
Yes, we have
Amity.
seasons.
We're gonna talk about all about the season. You know, we went long in the news and what we've been doing because we talked a little bit about this last week, but I did want to go one more level, one more double click down. I did want to talk about Amity in particular. So we can either start with Amity, SEMA, or we can go through the season and a little bit more on the objectives and what we're seeing so far
No, let's
and the
start with
reward track.
Amity.
Okay. We're not going to spoil. We'll spoil a little bit of the background on Amity, but we will not spoil the rest of Amity's story because Amity does have a little bit story. So this is what you're getting with this character. All you need to do is unlock rank level 1 of the season, and then you get the box to get Amity either right away as a companion or do the little setup story. The little setup story is pretty much the same on the Republic or the Imperial side. It's slightly different locations, is all it is, but the conversation, everything is the same Republic versus Imperial. So when you start the little mission, because you clicked on the little uh, token that it gives you in your inventory, it says, "Hey, there's this person who wants to talk to you, and they're over on I think it's Alderaan. I think both of them start on Alderaan. Yeah, I said go to Alderaan and go meet this person Amity. So you go to Alderaan, you meet Amity, and Amity is in a different place for Republic versus Imperial. It's just at the starting town where you are on each side. But this is where you get first introduced. Okay, we're gonna mute you, Amity. Uh, Amity speaks in Selonian. So Amity is a human, but it's a human raised by Selonians. So remember Elf? Elf was a human raised by elves.
Yes, I remember Elf.
My favorite part of the human raised by elves little dialogue is in the middle of the movie Elf. He's at the doctor's office and he's sitting down and he sits down next to a little girl and he's in his elf costume. He says, "I'm a human raised by elves." And she goes, "I'm a human raised by humans." A very sincere little voice. He is a human raised by Selonians. That's why his voice is Selonian. They are the kind of uh, uh, weasel looking uh, rat weasel people in Star Wars that look a little like if you're looking at the stream. I don't know if it loads up here on Wikipedia. Um, yeah, they're kind of like the rat weasel people. We do have, if you did all of the Star Fortress stuff, we do have a Selonian companion that you might already have. That does exist. Why is this not coming up? Wikipedia, you're failing me.
And you you would have come across Salonians in the game on Corellia.
Salonia and Salonian on Corellia,
Yeah.
which is where Amity spent their
Yes.
formative years and the transition years, which brought him to the point where he is in his life now. So here's the Salonians. They're sort of like this weasel cat furry race. Uh, what is the name of the Salonian companion that we have?
I
Uh,
don't know.
Let me bring her up. I believe it's a her. Derp, derp, derp. Deadeye Lita. There she is. Deadeye Lita is a Salonian. Salonians are well known for their strong family ties, but there's a dark side to these tribal bonds. Conflicts between competing tribes can erupt into deadly feuds and terrible violence. The gun for hire Deadeye Lita was the unquestioned victor of one such conflict when she single-handedly blasted every member of a rival family that had oppressed hers for years. Given the enormity of the carnage and the likelihood of reprisals, Lita left her homeworld of Corellia and settled on the deserts of Tatooine, where she could at least spot potential assassins from a safe distance. So when you do the Star Fortress on Tatooine, when you're flying there, that's when Theron Shan says, "I do not like Tatooine. I like to say
Say.
Tatooine,
Yes.
but I do not like Tatooine." But if you do the part where you're breaking in, you're sort of doing the ground part of getting into Star Fortress, Deadeye Lita is your contact, and this is yes, Amity is a he. Were we saying she? Yes, Amity is a he. Deadeye Lita is a she. But Amity's a dude. Was raised by Salonians on Corellia, and ended up in the military, Republic, Republic military, and started to manifest force abilities on in the Republic military, especially at a critical juncture of a large battle on Corellia, where he started to have visions that something really bad was going to happen. Bad, bad, bad. And he told his commanding officer. So this is again, this is some of the setup, bad stuff. I won't get into all of that, but that's part of the backstory. The manifesting of force powers there. Bad stuff happened. Amity ends up trying to then go further. Yes, Amity had a bad feeling about this. That is correct, chat room. Eflux. Well played. Amity was now struggling with this manifesting force power. Went to the Jedi, and the Jedi said, "Nope, too old you are," as they would. Decided Sith Academy? Nah, I don't think so. Also, and this is in the starting conversation, tracked down the Revenites, and quickly was like, nah, these guys are insane. And then got caught up by and uh, connected to the his current I'm forgetting their name now, the Moon Knight, the Moon Knights. What are their name? Moon something, Moon Knight, Moon Counselor, Might Knight, Moon Knight. It's just Moon Knight. We'll call them Moon Knights for
Yes.
now on.
That'll work.
But he got picked up by the Cold Moon Messengers of the Cold Moon. And he got connected. One of the elders told him about the Messengers of the Cold Moon. Basically, it's a group that helps you develop and control and understand your force abilities through meditation and concentration. Not that you're going to become a Jedi. In fact, he's definitely not a Jedi and doesn't intend to be. But to be able to, through this kind of better understanding of your of who you are and what you're experiencing, get your connection to the force sort of straightened out.
Right. It's sort of like how the Voss are they have force
Yeah.
sensitives, but they're not Sith or Jedi.
Hmm.
Something else.
Right. So Amity says, one of the things that is part of my pilgrimage now here as a Moon Knight is I am freaking out and I need to get a hold, get my arms around some of these visions that I'm having, and it's led me to you. Would you like to help me out? And you have conversations options on both sides. I don't know what if you're like snotty in your conversation options. I don't, which you're definitely allowed to be. I think you can like say no and like just leave and not have him as a companion. But I did not, of course. So I was, I was like, I'm down with it. Sure, I'll help you out. He also,
I guess it's worth a try since we might be wanting to have Amity on multiple characters.
right, right. So I did it both on Republic and Imperial. You don't have to do this mission quest stuff to even
No,
have Amity as a character. So
no, you don't.
you could
Yeah.
play through the story and be snotty and be mean or be dark side and dismiss Amity and kick him out. I sure you could do that. I was not. I was sensitive to his situation. He's also uh, non-aggressive. He's peaceful. He's trying to lead his life through peace. He explains he will fight if he needs to, but he'd rather not. So you get a couple opportunities in some of the conversations to you end up in a situation very soon. Again, this is just part of the startup. After you first talk to him on Alderaan, he says, "There's 3 of these force locations where I've had these visions. I want to meditate at them. Can you want to come with me?" You say yes. You're going to go with him. You go to the starting planet. It's Droman Kos on the Imperial side or Tython on the Republic side. You go there. You meditate.
Coruscant.
No, Tython for the first one.
Oh,
Because you'd go up past the camp with all of the head dudes, the flesh raiders. You go up the hill past the flesh
oh,
raiders.
so Korriban on the imp side.
Yeah, sorry, Korriban
Yeah, yeah.
on the imp
I'm
side.
with you now.
Korriban was my cradle and my testing ground. So you do this. Some a force evil force spirit manifests itself, and you have to fight it. And you get this opportunity to say, "Hey, sorry, we had to fight there." And he's like, "No, okay, no, I get it. I can fight, and I will fight if we need to. I just would rather not." So that's that situation with Amity in terms of fighting and who Amity kind of is. And then you have Amity. So you got to go to a few places, do the meditation stuff, and then you have Amity. Amity then shows up on your ship. In fact, why don't we go to my ship? It's sometimes difficult to find Amity on your ship. I unlocked Amity on my smuggler with just the unlock. Because I just needed it. That was the character I was going to be turning in rep on, and I didn't want to bother to go through the story on that one. And I had problems. I had to go in and out of my ship a couple times before Amity showed up. And because Amity is like kneeling down in a corner here, you can see Amity on my bounty hunter ship, kneeling down in some corner meditating. Especially if you don't have nameplates on, it can be difficult to see where Amity is. So I ran him around the smuggler ship like 3 or 4 times before I realized Amity was not there. Had to go out and come back in, and and deal with it that way. Yeah, so the chat room is debating the gender. I believe he said he and was referred to as he multiple times in the codex entry, in the text, and in the write up from BioWare. So that's why we're going with that in terms of pronouns. But yeah, so I've got Amity. I talked to Amity on the ships. The reason you want to track down Amity on your ship is because this is, as we did last season with Faye, going to be the place where you're going to be turning in the Moon Knight tokens of memory, meditation, note of reflection, and getting rep tokens as a result that you can then click to do your rep, which you need to be doing every week, as we said.
Yes.
So did you turn in some rep for this week so far, Sima?
I have done it twice this week, so Wednesday and today. And both times I did 20. I clicked on 20, so
I did 100 right off the bat on the character where I'll be turning in rep. And this is the character where I also collect all of the daily login rewards. And I have those tokens that give you extra bonus reputation. like 20 charges of bonus
Oh yeah,
reputation.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
So I've set this character aside. It's a smuggler that I don't play. All they do is they live on their ship now with those 20 charges, which have a timer countdown, but I only log into this character to do this. I get 5 purple tokens a week. I turn in all 5 with that bonus, and that ends up getting you to about 5,600 rep for the week, because when you turn in the last one, you go a little bit over 5,000. You end up with about 5,600 for the week. So,
Yeah, I did that on, yeah, the last season. I didn't think of it because I do have a character that still has charges of that
yeah,
left on her. I might do that too. But then again, I also want to use it for conquest, so it isn't going to be the same character every day for me.
right. Uh, for that character, I see. So I have one that's all this character is for, which helps. So I
Right.
don't do conquest on them. I don't. Well, it'll
No,
still hit its conquest target though.
right. That's what I'm saying is like once that one hits her conquest target,
Oh,
I'm pulled to doing it on a
oh,
different character.
nah, I'm just doing it. I just do
Yeah.
5 on that one guy,
That's what
and
I did too at the end of season 3. I just did it on that one
yeah,
character.
because I'm using up those charges, so I'm gonna do it and end up doing it that
Yeah.
way. Um, but yeah, so that is Amity, and then, and I confirmed this, as you build up your reputation with Amity, and we'll go through the reward track in just a second, and you'll see where some of the stuff comes from. Your reputation, your influence with the companion. As you build up your companion influence, you'll get more conversations with Amity. You might need to go back to your guild ships. It doesn't like show up. It doesn't say, "Hey, Amity wants us to go talk to you." Go back to your guild ship every once in a while as you start building the reputation. Amity will have more of a conversation for you, and maybe have something else for you to do or see, or to go and experience. And I did.
Another little mini chapter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Little mini chapter, a little adventure, a little bit more backstory. You'll get a little bit more backstory. You'll get a little bit more evolution of Amity as a character, and it's interesting, and I'm into it. So I'm waiting to see. I think I am up to influence 27 on Amity right now, and I will show you now how I did that. Anything else on Amity before we get into the, well, it's connected, but
No.
so you like, how you like Amity so far?
I like him. I think he's interesting. Yeah.
I like his armor, and as you have further conversations, you do have a little bit of a conversation about his armor and why he wears his armor and the helmet and everything all the time, which I think is interesting.
I
Uh,
guess I haven't gotten that because I do like his armor. I looked ahead in the rewards and I see there's different customizations of it too.
yep, I have one of the customizations already. In fact, we can put it on Amity right now and see it. Companion, which one is this? This is Amity's Moon Tier, Moon Knight Moon Tier customization. Oh, it's a little more blue. Oh, I like that one even better. Ooh, look at that. That's cool.
Yeah, it is cool. I do like it.
Yeah, we're keeping that on, bro. I want to change the lights. I want to change your lights though. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. So my Moon Knight is evolving. As I said, I think I am up to, and let's confirm, influence 27 with Amity, all through Galactic Season track rewards. So this is the main place on your first character that you're going through on the Galactic Season track. You will get enough going through the track season to get Amity to 50. And I think by the end, you get another token to get another Amity on an alt to 50 all at once. So let's look at the rewards and let's talk about the season a little bit. Uh, so first, let's look at the reward track, because we could talk about these rep tokens and some of the other rewards. But then I also want to talk about objectives and your experience with them so far. Um, Couple things. Reward level 1. If you remember, there's a free track and a subscriber track. If you're a subscriber, you're going to be getting a lot more stuff and a lot more of the rep items. So I'm 27, but only because I'm a subscriber, because I'm getting these big rep influence tokens with Amity out of that. But you get some good stuff in the free track too. You get these decos, like there's the pop up tent, which is a pilgrim's pop up tent. That is not the pop up tent. That is wrong. There it is. There's the pop-up tent. In fact, I'll put one upstairs out later while we're talking. Uh, but level 1, you get the Mudland Odux mount, and you get Amity as a companion. The Mudland Odux mount looks like this. It's like a little shaggy oxen kind of looking dude. A little hard to see here on mech shots. Not the best lighting. Let's see if I can go into the light here. Make it easier to see. Yeah, a little shaggy oxen looking kind of dude. Reminded me a little bit of just a little bit of Appa, like riding around on Appa in Avatar: Last Airbender. But he looks nice. He looks fun. So that is one mount that you'll get of a few. But you get that one right away at level 1. Are you riding around on Appa yet, Seema?
No, I did get him, but I haven't added him to my baton yet.
Another thing that you're getting quite a bit of, which this is one thing I have not pulled out of a couple of I started pulling all of the rewards out because I wanted to see them and have them and talk about them and be able to show them on the podcast. Level 2 is an example. In the subscriber track, you're getting notes of reflection. So those are those tokens that are going into your currency tab. You have a cap of 200 a week and you have a cap of 200 total that you can't have more. These are what you're turning in for reputation. You do have weeks where you need to acquire X number of notes of reflection. I'm keeping them in here in the reward track until I need to pull them out for those kinds of things.
Right, I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah, that's a good tip.
Or if I get behind on rep.
Level 3 here is where you start to get one of the first influence tokens, the gifts that you give to Amity. The dog tag ones up here and the free track give 5,000. And then level 4 here, there's a 10,000, a blue one, a 10,000 influence token already at level 4. Decos, it's here by level 5, you're getting decos, and then conquest commendations, which I don't need. Level 6 is where you get in the subscriber track is where you get your first Galactic Season token. I know a lot of people are chomping at the bit to get their Galactic Season tokens so that they can get the Mechsha Stronghold because you need 14 for that. Dies, the dies are stackable this season, so you got that going for you, which is nice. Cartel coins, legendary embers, and then you start to get one of the armor sets as well by level 10. So I've got my Moon Knight wrist guard by level 10, and then a couple other pieces. I think I've got like 5 pieces now so far.
That was a little
3.
fun mini activity, was combining all my dies
Oh, yeah,
that
restacking the
now
dies
stack.
from the other.
Restacking the dies, yeah.
Good plan. Level 15 is where you get that companion customization for Amity, one of them so far, and there's more. And then I have 3 pieces of armor by rank 20 or whatever I'm at so far. I think I'm at 22. 22. Few more Galactic Season tokens, armor, rep, cartel packs, some fun stuff. I'm most interested in the unique items specific to the season, which is the armor and the customizations, the Galactic Season tokens if you need them. So then the next interesting thing that came up was level 21, the Coriolis Alpenglow mount, which is this one I have docked over here in my Mechsha Stronghold. So this is the Coriolis Alpenglow, which is a pretty cool. It's one of those. It's a single seater, but it's one of the large car vehicle kind of speeders that are kind of cool. It's got some nice engines on the back that glow really well. Some extra lighting, some steam coming out the bottom, makes it look like it's hovering, and good detail, good textures. It's a good looking mount. I like the shape of it. It's a little different than just the regular shape. It's more sort of like arrow, like spearhead, arrowhead shaped, which is kind of cool, I think. And then as they're doing with all sort of new assets these days, the textures are looking really, really good. They're just well formed. And as I as I learn more about development and game development, I can see what they're doing here. As you know, you could sort of see there's extra detail around all of the edges of these panels. The sort of the extra texture going on across everything. The wear that's happening here, it just adds adds more realism. It adds more character, and it looks like a really cool thing, which it does. So, anything else on the rewards that you've been going through? Have you been pulling out any of the rewards yet, Seema?
I I've been thinking about it, and I got as far as thinking I'm gonna leave the, notes of reflection in there, but I did pull out a couple of gifts because, um, using that for conquest, um, companion influencer, but I haven't pulled out anything else yet.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't mention weapons. You are getting a set of weapons as well that are specific to this season that are kind of cool. Let's see, purple. I did want to check by the end. You get a couple legacy titles, stronghold title. There's more. There's the blasters, lightsaber hilt. I believe you get towards the end. Ooh, there's a cool containment chamber blue. Ooh, what is a containment chamber? That's like a holding cell. Interesting. Wonder if that will come up in the story. Here's a second set of armor, the armored messenger armor set. And then I believe by the end you'll get a special rep item that will boost Amity all the way to 50. Cold Moon Meditation Shrine. Oh, so you do get one of the meditation shrines. We're going to talk about that in a second, the meditation shrines. Garmac electrical turret. Cool. Some cool decos coming up. Level 95, armored, Amity customization, 100. Ooh, another Coriolis mount. Yeah, you get 2 Cold Moon compendiums at level 99, and those will take any Amity character on your, so like on an alt, all the way to 50 with 1 item. So if you have so remember that when if you're planning on getting to 99, and you want to get a character to another Amity to 50, remember you've got these for one. For two, don't put a bunch of rep items or like buy rep or influence items and give Amity a bunch of gifts and get Amity up to 50 and then use one of these because you wasted half the levels or
Right,
to
so
20 or
s
whatever.
so what I do is I get the companion, and then I use a compendium to get her up to 50 immediately, but then on all the alts that get her is when I start using the stuff from the reward track.
Right. Great. Oh, oh, yeah. Okay, because then you've got your main companion. You used
Right,
a regular compendium on it to get it to
right,
50.
right,
Then you'll have
in case I wanna
3.
do something like go, farm up a bunch of notes, but I have to have like in previous Galactic seasons when you had to have the companion with
Right,
you. Yeah,
right. But by the end of that, you'll have 1 at 50 and then 3 sets of rewards out of the season track to get
right,
3 more to 50 just out of those season rewards
right.
without another purchased compendium off the fleet. What about the objectives? So the one that I didn't do last year that I want to hear you describe, Seema, is that meditation objective. So I didn't get to do it, and I tried to look for it this week, and they're not available. So tell me about it.
So the way it works is there's, I believe, 3 places in the galaxy where you can go with Amity, and then you meditate. And the way it works is when you get close enough to a shrine, similar to how it was with the suspicious gambler, when you get close enough to a shrine, if you have Amity out, then a button pops up to meditate. And if you click the button, then you will meditate. And then if you're tracking the Galactic Seasons target, you'll see it start to tick up. So you know how many points or stacks or whatever you want to call it you have. You're trying to get to 200 for the target. If there's other people also meditating, instead of ticking up by 1, it'll tick up by more. So when I was doing it, there was another person there for part of the time, and I noticed that it was ticking up for 2. Then once you get to 51, then you get a debuff that makes you wait for 10 minutes before you do it again. However, I happened to notice in guild chat, Cal saying that there is a a way around that, which is if you're looking at it ticking up anyway, as long as you stop meditating before you get to 51, and then, like, I went back to my stronghold and then came back to the meditation place. I'm not sure if you need to do that step, but, then when you start meditating, it'll blow past 51.
Yeah. Change maps, uh,
But I also don't feel like a
leave and come
10-minute
back.
debuff is a horrible thing either,
Right.
because there's no rule that says you have to do all 200, you know, as a speed game.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
But, you know, for if you're trying to get it all done at once, there's the trick. You
right,
just gotta stop before you get to 51
right.
and then change maps or go to another location, and then you don't have that 10-minute break.
Yes. I didn't try it without changing maps, so I don't know if that step is necessary, but I did that.
Yeah. So that is interesting. There are a couple of those Moon Knight themed objectives. So this week it was kill 100, which is sort of the antithesis of what Amity wants you to be to be doing,
Right,
but
right.
defeat 100 enemies with Amity out across the galaxy. There are also achievements, and remember to check out those achievements, especially if you want the meta achievement, the overall achievement, because you want to get all of the achievements within the season to get the final reward for getting all the achievements done, which is another customization for Amity, an extra special customization. I'll show that while we're talking. But I think one of those achievements is to kill a bunch of things with with Amity out. Uh, so you got to get to 100 uh, galactic season level. You need to complete 100 weeklies, and you need to become legendary. So that's all you need to do with Amity. The kill things with Amity is just one of the regular companion achievements, but it's not one of the season achievements. So you
So
will get
Forster
that
just
as you go
mentioned
as well.
there's way more than 3 possible sites for the meditation thing.
Okay,
It's just you can scroll down the list of possible sites even though there was no scroll bar. So
got it.
I just didn't. I went to Voss, that was the first one I thought of, and it was easy to find, so that's what I did.
I went to Droman Cause today. I looked up. I think I looked up on SWTOR the Droman Cause spot and the Ilum spot, and they aren't available this week. So nothing happens. You bring Amity there, and there's nothing. So you can't do it on the weeks that it doesn't exist. So that gets back to that 12-point objectives, and I missed it, and I didn't do it last week, and I was kind of disappointed. But that's on me. That was a choice I made. So the other thing that I thought was interesting is they've tweaked up the objectives just a little bit, not a lot. They're quite similar, but last week it was an arenas objective. Again, because PvP has been switched now, they've got this alternative. They were not going to put in a ranked PvP, in previous seasons. That wouldn't make sense to put in a ranked PvP objective, but they can do an arenas objective versus a war zones objective now, and they did that. Last week had a 12-point arenas objective, and you had to do, I think, like 8 arenas, wins count as 2 kind of thing. This week it was 8 war zones, wins count as 2 as your season objective. This week there was also a GSF objective. There's the world boss kinds of objectives. This week we killed Kithral on Runic as another 12-point objective. That's the world boss there down in the cave on Runic. Uh, Easy boss to kill with a relatively small group. Medulla in our guild chat was giving us a tip, which was no matter how many people you have, remember you get credit for the kill. You don't get credit for the mission for like defeat 4 world bosses, but you get credit for the galactic scene objective if you are just there and you tag in if any group is doing it. So what you can do is you can put like you get all 20 of you together that are going to go kill the world boss. You don't group up. You have no groups, and everyone gets out their companions, and then it's all of you 20 and all of your companions beating on the boss, and it dies a lot quicker.
Right. And the reason that works is because for some reason, this world bus doesn't currently have the feature that prevents companions from attacking world bosses.
Ooh, look at this. This is the achievement armor It's very glowy. It's still yellow glow, but it's very glowy armor. That's
Okay.
interesting.
Yes, I do like that.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna be getting that. I like
Yeah.
his I like his chopping axe chopper weapon. Axe. Guess it's and my axe. So back on the Kithral thing, what I want to do is get 20 of us, get all of our companions out. Yeah, as Stas said, and just have the companions go. We'll
I
all just
mean,
stand back and like heal the companions and
if
let
we
them
want to
go to
do
town.
that, we should do it fast
Why? Why?
because I feel like
Oh, you
this
think
is
they're
a
gonna they're
it's
gonna
like a one-off. Like they're like, "Oh, yeah, we forgot to put that in."
yeah,
Since every other world boss doesn't work this way.
probably. Oh, Stask is saying that the scuttlebutt is the word on the street
Oh, they
is
may have already
they may
fixed
have
it.
already fixed it. They may
I
have
would not be
patched it out and
surprised.
hot fixed that out. Possibly, possibly. Oh well, you could still do it with some of the smaller champion stuff out in the world.
True.
You can also remember you can duel another player and just have your companions fight each other, uh, which is hilarious. Companion
Yeah.
duels are pretty awesome, especially when it's Treek versus anybody or Treek versus Treek. That's the best. All right. So objectives. I'm going to be going. We probably taking my same approach that I taken in previous seasons, which is going after the 12-point objectives so that I'm getting those done because it's a fun challenge for me as well. Again, it's a decision I'm making. What is your strategy this season,
I
Seema?
am sticking with my previous strategy because it's worked so well for me, which is do what I want when I want. And then
Do what I
usually I will
want.
review on the weekend
Yeah.
and see if there's any that are almost done and go ahead and finish those.
Yep. Makes sense. Makes sense. If you are in our guild every Tuesday morning. There will be a post. Usually it's a conversation between a few people, often Medulla and Sten, who are saying, okay, 12-point objective this week is flashpoints. These are the flashpoints where you can do it one and done solo. And this week it was Directive 7 or Spirit of Vengeance. Both of those you could do solo and do because you have to do the bonus boss. And they explained if you're going to do Directive 7, you only have to do the bonus series where you're just killing, I think you have to kill like 100 droids and then kill 50 more droids. And then you can do the bonus fight and you can get it all done by yourself solo. Same with Spirit of Vengeance. Last week it was uh, the Nathema one. No, not Nathema. The I forgot. It was the cool one where you're uh, um, fighting the droid that spins around, and you got to go behind the little turret droids. And uh, anyway, chat room, remind me what the flashpoint was to do last week. Uh,
I don't remember. I mean, I
jump in
know I'm at
our
the chat room, but yeah.
aie-guild.org Discord. Jump in our guild or ping any of us on Tuesday morning, and we'll get you the lowdown on which is the good flashpoint to go do. Um, great, 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 great. Anything else then, Seema, on Galactic Season? How you feeling? How you feeling about it overall?
Well, I mean, I was late remembering about rep,
Yeah,
and I haven't looked out at the achievements in general yet, so I feel like, oh, I better do that because I do want that armor set.
it's the same achievements as last season, so we got that going for us, which is
Okay, so I'm
get to
I'm I'm on
100.
track. I'm on
Yeah,
track for those. Yeah.
get to 100, get to legendary, do 100 weekly objectives. That's it.
Because even though, like I say, my approach is less efficient or less streamlined or less urgent than another person's approach, I still end up with like 5, 6, 7 targets each week. So
Yeah. Yeah,
I
because
will
there's a
have
lot that
time to do
just gets
stuff.
done. Because we have our ops night, we have our Tuesday nights fun night with the group, and you're off doing stuff, and stuff just gets done. That's part of the fun of it. You're not having to, you're not having to put hours into this, um, and get crazy, and still be able to get through the whole season and have a lot of fun. So All right. I think I think we are good. So I think it's time to wrap us up. And chat room, stick around and we'll go over Mouse Droid Eats Cheese a little bit afterwards. But for now, our astromech droid EPC 462 is going to get kicked out an airlock to broadcast this episode to all of you out there. All the feed and subscribe links are on newoverlords.com, and YouTube/New Overlords is a great place to see what we're talking about. You can also come chat with us in our Discord, our show Discord, which is newoverlords.com/Discord. If you want the feed of when we go live, although I forgot to do it tonight because everything was going crazy, in any of the places, I forgot all of them. Twitter at Max the Gray and at the New Overlords. When the show gets posted on Fridays, it also goes on those and it goes in the Discords. We will keep you up to date as best we can when I don't forget. For the Alea Iactas Guild on Starforge, which is our guild with guilds on the Republic and the Imperial side, and in all of the games that we play, and all of the side games that we play, and everything new out there, like No Man's Sky, who had another update this week. There's a few of us playing that. Check all of that out on aie-guild.org, which mostly just gets you to the Discord link right now because everything's in Discord. It's all Discord these days, boys. Discord link is right there on the guild webpage. Jump in, you'll see all the games. You'll see the SWTOR section. Jump in and say, hey, I'm a SWTOR player. How about get me one of them invites you keep talking about? And we will say yes.
Yes, we will. We will say yes.
And with that, we will talk to you soon.
Later, everyone.